What's up, you guys? I'm here today doing something a little different than my normal content. I normally do rock crawler stuff and Jeep Cherokee stuff, but I've been having a really big project on the back burner for probably about 2 or 3 years now, to be honest. It's a '08 Silverado LTZ package, Vortec Max truck, 6.0 Gen 4 aluminum block. You know, the typical issues with them, the lifter failure took the cam out, and instead of being smart and doing a whole cam swap after the first time, I just kept throwing lifters in it, and by the time I got done with it, there's so much metal and stuff and a little bit of damage and bearing damage and stuff, so I decided to freshen up the rest of the engine. Just all new bearings, nothing too crazy. It's got a BTR stage 3 truck cam in it, 3-bolt. So I deleted the VVT and all that stuff. And now I'm gonna show y'all in the gist of how I do it. This is going to be like one of the first big engine builds in this little shop I have. We ain't got no concrete, we got no fancy tools. We just got basic hand tools and stuff like that. I ain't a shop here by no means. So it's mainly an everyday person job that I'm pretty much doing. I sent my cylinder heads off. You know, you always want to check your cylinder heads when you do anything like this. Always get new gaskets. I mean, I know a lot of people reuse the O-ring gaskets, and I do, I'm not gonna lie. I've reused them a bunch, but I'm down this deep, the engine's out of the truck, all the gaskets easy to change, so I'm gonna change them. Get that good and done. I'll show you all these parts I got laying here on this table. So my cylinder heads, the cam kit I come with, they come with new valve springs. I dropped them off at Dover Cylinder Head in Chattanooga. They did an amazing job on them. Like, did a full valve job in there, cleaned up all the valves, put new valve stems in, and checked all the guides and cleaned up all the bolt. I mean, did an immaculate job. Really good priced. Can't really get mad. Got these all cleaned up and ready to go. Nothing severe wrong with them. Just pretty much need a little bit of valve job. Got the intake. Got head studs here because, you know, it's time to head stud it and get it ready for the next level if I decide to go that far. I've got a very dirty oil pan with lots of bearing material in it. Not to mention I got a little bit of glitter and stuff from it being laid out and stuff on in it. But I'm taking all this apart and cleaning it. I've got the complete engine gasket kit. I've got some different gaskets for some different areas though that were of higher quality. But all these seem really good. I got them off eBay fairly cheap. Felt Pro, or however you want to say it, got that kit for like $120 something, $140 something, not too bad. Got the billet oil galley plug from Summit. I've got a new crank bolt from Summit, just a factory one. New Summit cam plate, the oil pickup tube secure for the second bolt. I bought one of those. Got new piston rings. Got, I think them ones are going to be the rod bearings, main bearings, cam bearings, a big Johnny Mellon oil pump, and a double roller timing chain. You know, just pretty much basic stuff. Pretty much just to freshen the whole engine up. We've got a heater running, so it's probably gonna be a little hard to hear. Got an engine stand, got the engine out here, got another heater. It's been pretty cold. I mean, you can see I'm working on panels. I mean, it's a mud shop in here. It's about best thing you can say, get out of the weather. So typically what I like to do is when I first start doing something like this, I've got this engine lift plate that I got from eBay. It's from Massive. I label the cylinders on it, and you can tell what one's front and back. You know, the front's flat, the back has a little cutoff on it. So I typically label it on this because we're going to be cleaning this block and cleaning the piston tie. I mean, you can see there's some nasty stuff on some of them. It ain't too horrible, but it needs a lot of cleaning. I've labeled the lifter trays for what cylinders and all that stuff, just because these lifters have been ran. They're LS7 lifters. They have been ran already, so I'm gonna just put them back on the same cam lobe they came out of. I've got Brian Tooley turbo head gaskets coming for it, multi-layer. They're on their way. They'll be here probably in a few days with time certs. I have a couple stripped out head bolts, and I'm gonna show you guys how to properly fix aluminum block or Gen 3 block. Honestly, any head bolt that's stripped, they make kits for all of them. I'm gonna show you how to properly do that instead of helicoiling it. It's pretty expensive, but it actually lasts a really long time. So what I'm gonna do now is I've got my girlfriend with me and my dog. Of course, you have to have a shop dog. It ain't gonna be built right if you don't have a shop dog and the old lady in the shop. That's all there is to it. And if you don't have an old lady in your shop, I'm sorry, nothing you built is gonna hold together. It just don't happen. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it over, and me and her's gonna start taking the crank, all the mains and rod bolts loose and all that stuff. We're gonna pull them out, and I'll do a couple little short clips of us doing that and us label them and how we labeled them and how we cleaned them and all that stuff. So we'll see you then. So first things first, we got the engine flipped over upside down. I've already had this thing stripped for a little while. I just put all my bolts back in the same place they came out of when I did it. It's been out of the truck for a couple months. I just ain't done nothing with it. We've already got the front cover off, the cam out, and all that good stuff. We got to take off the rear cover with the rear main seal. And she's doing that right now. It'd probably help if I had the actual LS engine stand plate, but I didn't. So I made my own little dooracky. I made them work. That's all I did. Yep. So she's gonna take this plate off. We're gonna pull it out, and then we're gonna take each cap off. You know, in the sequence they say. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's like you work from the inside out or something like that. I'll have to double check and make sure. But, yeah. So once she's done with this, we'll be able to take the crank out, and we'll dive in to figure out why it lost oil pressure to begin with and what happened and how it works. She's gonna get this stuff done. Certified snap-on. Certified snap-on. Snap-on certified. Certified snap-on. Got the American flag on side and all. Look, we even got the dog in freaking Carhartt. Pretty cold out here today. So yeah, so we got them broke loose and kind of snug still. We gotta break these rod bolts loose, and we labeled these with paint marker just so we can see them better, but they have them labeled, at least mine's labeled on the side. Now there's one, and the number favors to the side they should face. So if you pick this up and the front of your engine's facing like mine, facing this way, 1 will be closer to this side, to the front of the engine. 2, same way. 3, same way. 4, same way. And then 5 is the same way. So it's already kind of labeled, but I can just see that a lot better than seeing that. But either way, apples and oranges, it don't matter. It works either way. What I did now is I labeled the rod cap. I mean, it kind of messed up right there, but don't mind that. I'm a little stupid when it comes to writing. Anyways, 1, we'll rewrite 2. So 1, and on the rod, you want to make sure the caps go back in the same orientation as you took them off. So I just put a line and an arrow. So 1, I know cylinder 1's right here. So I put an arrow. So I know when I put this thing back together in this rod, this arrow is going to be pointing to cylinder 1, cylinder 2. It's going to be going this way, and so forth. It's just something easy for me to remember to put it back together with. And your cell phone's a useful tool, video, whenever you take stuff apart. I said that in a few videos, especially major stuff like this. I do a paint marker, and typically when I torque something down or something, I'll paint mark the bolt. That way if it turns back or something happens later on, and I look at my bolts and my lines ain't lining up, I know something happened, it caused it to come loose. So it's a good practice to do. I already labeled it off. I broke this rod loose. I'm gonna break these ones that are loose. A few of the other ones are. I gotta get the rest of them loose, and we'll be pulling pistons now. Hey guys, I've got what was that, 8 and 7 out. Everything looks good. Nothing too crazy. The bearings have a little bit of wear to them. Nothing's crazy significant. That's the back side of it. Nothing too bad so far. Just regular old wear, I feel like. I mean, for the most part. So the way I like to do it is I like to break them loose. I'll pull the cap out like this. Then I'll set my cap right here. Mine's a dirt. Everything's getting spot cleaned anyways soon. So what I'll do is whenever I take the rod, I'll grab it with one hand and I'll push it down, and I'll feed my hand through the block like this, and out the top this will go, and I just hold the rod so it don't beat the cylinder all the way down and whatnot, and it's out. You got your piston. All looks good. Nothing too crazy. Go to the next. Well, I found the culprit of my issues. I had a spun bearing on number 2 rod, and it kind of ate up the crank a little bit. So either A, take the crank to a machine shop and get them to fix it and then put an oversized bearing on number 2, or B, buy a new crank. I don't know which one's cheaper yet. I'm gonna look it up and figure it out. Yep, that was worse than what I expected it to be. I was hoping it was just bearing wear, but see if you can stick your where's that magnet at? See if we can get the bearings out of there. So this is the one that caused all the damage. It got flattened out, got ate up, spun around, chewed out, and spit out. So we found the damage, boys. That will do it. And that, my friend, is how you destroy an LS engine. One bearing. It ain't destroyed, it's fixable. I mean, it is what it is. Have it on them big jobs.
Where did that thing go?
If you want to play, you gotta pay. Yes, sirree. Come here, baby. Let's see that socket. Come on. Come here. Let me see that damn socket. Come on, you old shithead. Come on. Good dog. Now I need a ratchet. Go get me a ratchet. Let's go get me a ratchet. Let's go get it. Alright, come on. Just come get me the ratchet. I need it. Come on. Yeah, good dog. You a good old dog. Oh, yeah. Let's get on that thing. Watch that thing. Oh, goodness. Let's get that thing. What are you doing? Watch yourself. What are you doing? What are you doing over there? Crazy asshole. It is good, you guys. Yeah. So, figured out where my oil pressure went. She most definitely ate number 2 rod bearing. Spun it around a few times, acted all crazy about it, and yeah, definitely messed her up a little bit. I'm in a pinch to get this job done. My Toyota, I totaled it out, got hit head on. No one got hurt. It was no big deal. I might throw little pictures of that in here, right here, or something. Yeah, I got hit head on, totaled out of the truck, and I was like, well, I can't daily drive with a rock crawler. I mean, I drove it all last week. It done good, but after you cave the doors in so many times, it lets all the air in and all the heat out. So I'm not freezing no more. I'm going to for sure get the old Silverado going again. But so what I did, because I'm in a time crunch, which I'm trying to get it done by next weekend and get it in for a tune the week after. But I just bought a new crank. It was at O'Reilly's. It was a reman crank, standard size, straight from the parts store, for like $340 or $240 or somewhere, $300 about, plus a $30 core on this one. So I figured that'd be pretty cheap and easy. I mean, that ain't gonna break the bank by no means. I ordered a new rod for it because the rod's kind of ovaled up, and so I'm gonna just throw a new rod and a new crank in it and run the rest of the stuff because it's all in great, perfect working shape. And yeah, we'll be back going again. So where we're at right now is I pulled the lifter trays out, which I didn't video that, and I should. I'll explain how we do that. I pulled the main caps out, and that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, just get in there with a rubber mallet, tap them, wiggle it like a tooth, and they'll pop right out. And yeah, so I'm gonna flip over the camera and show you what we're doing on the engine side of everything, and then we can figure out at that point what we're gonna do, and exactly next step would technically be do the cam bearings in it. So that's probably what we're gonna do next. So that's gonna be a learning curve because I ain't never done cam bearings in one. I've done some in like little 4 cylinders and stuff, but it's a little different. But yeah, so we're gonna figure this out together, I guess, and struggle bus it. We got a professional over here. She got the hand tattoos, courtesy of a really good friend of mine, like best friend of mine's kids, you know, tattoo artist soon to be. Look at that, she cleaning away on that thing. Well, I guess while we're here, she's cleaning, I'll kind of talk while you watch her hands go to work. Look at that. Big old ring on that thing and nails done, and she out here working on LS. That's a keeper. That's a keeper. You got the old shop dog hanging out. Well, anyways. So these bolts hold the trays in. Your lifters sit down in them holes. And pretty much you pull the tray out. Sometimes, if you're lucky, all the lifters come out in the tray. And then sometimes if they've been a little stuck or in there a little weird, or you don't pull it directly straight, it will be stuck. So all you do is just make sure they don't fall on the ground. I dropped a couple, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Just make sure you pull them out. And what I'm gonna do is I got all my LS7 lifters in a row. I've already got them labeled and whatever. I'm gonna fill this up, and I'll put them in oil and let them sit in oil until I put the motor back together. So that's gonna be over a week of sitting in oil. Technically they say only a couple days or whatever, but as long as you got some lubrication on it, as long as it's a few hours at least, I'd say, you're good. But yeah, so she's cleaning up the block. She's getting it all nice and ready and surfaced for these Mama Jamba heads to come back. And Beautiful job. I got them a little dirty already. I had to check something out on these heads, but perfect, man. I mean, look at that. Beautiful. Did an amazing job for me. I probably shouldn't show you the dirty head. I had to set that other head on the block just to see something real fast to make sure my dowel pins and everything was in right. And one of them looks kind of bent up and a little goobered up, so I figured I'd take a look at it. It was this one, I think. This one, or watch your hand. It was one of these ones. Anyways, they sit fine. Yeah, we took off my lift plate over here. I'm just using, which I got Snap-on, and this is a Matco set. You ain't gotta have all this fancy stuff. Just Craftsman, anything you got. I'm a diesel mechanic by trade, so I have all these expensive tools, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna show you the crank. So right here, you might be able to see a little bit. Let me wipe off the camera, it's a little dirty. You may be able to see there's a little line right here, and that's from 1 to 2. This is number 2, where the second number 2 connecting rod sits, and it ate it pretty bad. It ain't nothing too bad, it's fixable, but like I said, I'm in a time crunch and money is not an issue right now on this build. I've already blew way out of the budget, so I might as well just go ahead and make my life a little bit easier, not worry about oversized bearing on one rod, all that. This is the number 2. This is it. It's kind of rounded off, but these are the bearings I got out of there. Let's see, which you can see by the end, and you can see by the discoloration. See how hot it got? Let me wipe it off. That thing got hot, it spun, and it ate up the crank and the rod. This is the other end. That one's really good at seeing the damage. They overlapped each other, and yeah. So that's where I heard my squeal and then my little bit of a knock, and then I shut her down real quick. Which I was running the truck without a tune, so that probably don't help. And I was beating the dog crap out of it. I mean, absolutely giving it the 1-2 combo. Like I was running it like I have other things to drive, and I didn't have nothing else to drive at the time, which was pretty stupid. But anyway, so we're gonna address the cam bearings and the rings next, probably. We'll put the barbell in, and then the rest of it's kind of on hold until the rest of my parts come in. And like I said, complete gasket kit. When you do it, might as well do it as good as you can, right? I've never used these gaskets before. I've always used like the, for the exhaust, I've always used like the aluminum, like, but I don't know, it feels weird. It's like more of a gasket compound, where these are a metal. So I'm kind of eager to see how these work out, if they're better. I got long tube headers from China, you know, eBay specials, and I ain't broke them yet. I ain't cracked them or anything. They work good. I mean, no issue. They fit all right. No issue there. So we'll see. I'm kind of eager to try these for sure. I'm very eager to get this thing going again. I've got a new, trying to decide whether I should replace the rear main seal, and I know I need to, but I'm worried because it didn't leak. I'm worried if I push my luck and replace it, and I mess it up putting it in, it's gonna leak. But I guess hindsight's 20/20, so I'll figure it out once I go to do it. I forgot a windage tray nut right here. Let's see. Oh, big stupid, it's over here. Right there. Yep. Put that bad Johnny back on there. Yeah. Yes, sir. So, yeah, so that's where we're at. Oh, on the other note, right here, this little heater right here, Bought it at Tractor Supply, what was it, 107, 109 bucks? Bought that thing, works amazing. It runs like a really long time off a tank of propane. Really, really long time. And this is something my dad had, laid around for a really good while. And them things work great. I mean, can't beat them. They're kind of pricey if you buy them. I was gonna buy another one, and I seen how much it was. I was like, well, I'm gonna try this propane one. And then if I need one, I'll buy it. And then Dad told me he had one already, so I just stole his. That's about the way it works, right? But yeah, she's hard at work cleaning, and I guess she's gonna beat me up if I keep talking crap, not cleaning with her. So we're gonna get this thing all cleaned up. It's pretty well empty now. All it's got in it is cam bearings, and we're finna knock them out and put new ones in, and she'll be fresh. So I guess at the end of this, I mean, after we get done cleaning up what we wanted to get cleaned up and everything, I guess I'll video the cam bearings and video us dressing the pistons with new rings and cleaning them and all that good stuff. And then we will be waiting on parts, so that'll be a good thing. We'll get that straightened up, and probably, maybe more than less likely, be next weekend for sure. I'll be putting most of this back together with her, and yeah, we're gonna get some stuff done. So see you here in a minute. It's got it labeled on the block. It'd be I guess it'd be beside the, really underneath the water pump, kind of tucked away, because the water pump ports are right here. The water pump bolts in these three holes. Right here it says 6.0 liter. So yeah, that's one way to tell if you go to buy a block or an engine from somebody and you really aren't as experienced as some other guy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the most experienced. So 5.3 blocks and the 6.0 blocks are, I mean, like identical pretty much. So right there might be a little giveaway if it's out and you can see that. You know, just, that's a little heads up, a cool little thing. I always thought they were on the back of the block or something like that. Someone said, yeah, there's one on the back of the block too. Yep. Which that'd be something, you couldn't see that unless you had transmission out. Right there. So yeah, so if you go to buy one or something like that, keep an eye right here. It'd be on the driver's side of the engine, right next to the water pump stuff. Okay, so when you go to replace the barbell, I didn't get it on video. I said I was supposed to. Anyways, you can't do it with it on the stand. At least not with my stand. It's too long. It hits this arm. And pretty much just hook your lift to it, bring it up, loosen up all 4 bolts, slide it back a little bit, move the engine. And it's pretty self-explanatory. All you do is go up through this port. It's a hex key. And you take a flathead, you push it out, you grab it, pull it out, put a new one in. Make sure you oil it before you put it in. Good to go. I've got her putting the plug back in. Ashy skin in the winter. Look at that. Looks like tiger stripes. But yeah. So we're putting that plug back in, and I think that's gonna be about all I can get done for today. We've got the head cleaned up. We put the lift plate back on it. I mean, it's all clean and looking good for the most part. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, so we got this thing cleaned up, and I think that's gonna be it for mostly a day. We'll end up probably picking back up next weekend or something like that on the Durbon cam bearings, and hopefully by then all the other parts will be here. And I'm gonna show you a couple new tricks that I've learned for this AFM and oil pressure delete and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that, and give you a few tips and tricks on the way of keeping good oil pressure in one of these AFM motors.